Have you ever met someone who seemed loving on the surface, but was actually capable of the worst betrayal? What if I told you that behind a mother's perfect smile, there was a darkness so cold it shattered her own daughter's life? This is Julia's story, one girl's journey from heartbreak to hope, revealing the shocking truth about her mother Claire's true nature. In these next moments, you'll see how a mother's selfishness nearly destroyed her child's innocence, and how Julia begins to find her strength amid the chaos. But here's the twist. Claire's final act of revenge will change everything and lead to an unexpected police intervention that uncovers secrets no one saw coming. If you're curious about how love can be poisoned by betrayal and how real trust can be rebuilt, stick around. Before we dive in, comment below where you're watching from and hit that like button if you believe even the coldest hearts can be healed. This story will surprise you, challenge you, and remind you that light always follows darkness if you know where to look. I woke up early that morning. The sun was shining, and I could hear birds singing outside. It felt like a good day. But something was wrong. I looked at Julia. She was sitting on the couch, quiet and still. Her face looked tired, and her eyes looked watery. I knew she was upset, but I didn't know why. Julia is my best friend. We have known each other for a long time. She is kind, gentle, and funny. But lately, I noticed she was sad a lot. She often looked tired and worried. I wanted to help her, but I didn't know how. I sat beside Julia and asked, "What's wrong? Are you okay?" She looked away and didn't answer right away. Her voice was soft when she finally spoke. "I'm fine," she said, but I could see she was lying. I reached out and took her hand gently. "Julia, I know you're not okay. You can tell me. I am here for you." I wanted her to trust me. Suddenly, I heard a loud noise outside. It was a car pulling up. I looked out the window and saw Claire, Julia's mother. She looked tan and happy, carrying a big bag. She looked like she was on a vacation. Claire was always busy taking selfies and posting pictures on her phone. She liked to show off her sun-kissed skin and her fancy clothes. Claire was not a kind mother. Sometimes she was nice, but most of the time she was busy with herself. She didn't seem to notice Julia's pain. Julia's eyes filled with tears. Her shoulders sank, and she looked down. I felt worried. I didn't like to see Julia like this. I wanted to help her, but I didn't know how. Later that day, I saw Claire come into the house. She was smiling and laughing, holding her phone. She didn't look worried about Julia. Instead, she posted a selfie with the bright sun behind her. She wrote, "Feeling happy and free." I stared at her photos. Her replies were cold and distant. People liked her pictures, but I knew she didn't care about Julia. That night, I heard Julia crying softly inside her room. I tried to go to her, but I saw her door was closed. I knocked gently and said, "Julia, I'm here. Do you want to talk?" But she didn't answer. When I looked through the keyhole, I saw Julia sitting on her bed. Tears were running down her face. She looked so sad and scared. I wanted to help her, but I felt helpless. Suddenly, I heard Claire shouting from the other room, "Why are you making trouble? Leave her alone." Claire was angry. Her voice was sharp and cold. I looked at the door and felt worried. I wanted to go inside and see if Julia was okay, but I was afraid Claire might be angry at me. That night, I laid in my bed thinking about Julia. I wished I could do more. I knew she was hurting, but I didn't know how to help her. I looked at my phone and wondered if I should call someone for help. Just then, I heard Julia whisper, "Help me." Her voice was small, but I heard it clearly. She was crying for help, and I knew that she needed someone to notice. But Claire was still inside, busy with her life, posting pictures and pretending everything was fine. In that moment, I understood something very serious. Julia was in trouble, and she needed me. But Claire's mask was still hiding the truth. I didn't know what would happen next, but I promised myself I would stay close to Julia and try to help her through this. That was the night everything started to change. The night Julia's cry for help finally broke through. I woke up feeling strange. My head was sore, and I felt very weak. I looked around my room. Things looked blurry. I wanted to get out of bed, but I was too tired. I remembered I had cried a lot the night before. I was scared that something was seriously wrong. I heard a soft knock on the door. It was the friend I call my friend. She came in quietly. She looked worried. "Julia, are you okay?" she asked softly. I tried to sit up, but my body wouldn't listen. I just nodded. I felt tears in my eyes. It was hard to speak. The friend sat beside me. She took my hand gently. "You look so tired," she said. "You need to see a doctor. Something is wrong." I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to tell her how I felt lonely and scared. But I could only whisper, "Help me." She looked at me with big, kind eyes. She promised she would help me. "I will take you to the doctor right now," she said. "You need help. You can't stay like this." I nodded again. I felt a small burst of hope. Maybe things could get better. She helped me sit up slowly. I felt dizzy, but she kept me steady. She called my mom's phone. My mom was outside, sunbathing in the yard. She answered after a few rings. "Mom," my friend said, "Julia is very sick. She needs to see a doctor now. Please come home." There was a long pause. Then I heard my mom say, "What? What's wrong?" My friend explained softly, "Julia is very weak and dizzy. She's not feeling good. Please come quickly." My mom finally came inside. She looked surprised and a little angry. She didn't ask many questions. She just told me to come with her. As we drove to the doctor's office, I looked out the window. I felt tired and worried. I thought about Claire, my mom. She was still in the yard, sunbathing and taking selfies. She didn't seem to care that I was so sick. At the doctor's office, they checked me carefully. They said I was dehydrated and very weak. They gave me medicine and told me I needed rest. They also said I should stay in bed and drink a lot of water. After I took the medicine, I started to feel a little better. My head didn't hurt so much, and I could breathe easier. The doctor told me I needed help to get better. I knew I wasn't just sick physically. I was also sad inside. I wanted someone to listen and care. That night, I lay in my bed. My friend stayed with me for a while. She held my hand and smiled softly. "You're brave," she said. "You reached out for help. That's very strong." I looked at her and smiled weakly. I knew she cared. I felt a tiny spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, I could get through this. But I also knew I had a big question in my mind. Why did Claire ignore me? Why did she seem so far away? I didn't have the answers yet. I only knew I needed to stay strong and keep asking for help. As I closed my eyes, I thought about what was coming next. I knew things might get worse before they got better. But I wouldn't give up. I would keep trying. Because I wanted to feel safe, loved, and happy again. And I knew I wasn't alone anymore. I had my friend, and that made all the difference. I woke up feeling a little stronger than yesterday. My body still hurt, but I was glad I was alive. I looked around the room and saw Julia lying on the bed. She was very weak, and her eyes looked tired. I sat next to her and gently took her hand. "Are you feeling better?" I asked softly. Julia nodded slowly. She tried to smile, but it was small and tired. "A little," she whispered. I looked out the window. It was sunny outside. The sky was bright blue. I knew Claire was still away, sunbathing and posting pictures of herself online. She didn't seem to notice how sick Julia was. It made me sad. "Julia," I said quietly, "we need to be strong. You need to rest, and I will stay with you." Julia looked at me with big eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. A few minutes later, I heard a noise outside the door. It was Claire. She came home from her trip. She looked tan and happy. She was smiling, holding her phone. She didn't come into the room right away. Instead, she stood in the doorway and looked at us. She said, "What's going on here? Why is Julia still in bed?" I felt nervous. I wanted to tell her how bad Julia felt, but I didn't want to make her angry. "Julia is very tired," I said. "She needs rest. Her body is weak." Claire rolled her eyes. "She's always like this. She's just pretending to be sick again. It's all in her head." Her voice was cold and harsh. Julia looked away. She didn't say anything. She was too tired. Claire walked into the room. She looked at Julia with a cold face. She didn't sit down or ask how Julia was feeling. Instead, she checked her phone and then started posting selfies on social media. She was sunbathing again, taking pictures of herself with the beach behind her. I watched her and felt a tear in my eye. It was strange. Claire was so busy showing off her tan, but she didn't seem to care about Julia at all. Suddenly, Claire's face changed. She looked angry. She turned to me and said, "You think you're so clever. You're just causing trouble. You're trying to make me look bad." Her voice was sharp. "This is all your fault. You're the one who's making Julia sick. You're trying to steal her away from me." I felt my heart beat fast. I didn't want to fight, but I knew Claire was wrong. "Claire," I said carefully, "Julia is hurt because she's sick. It's not because of me. Please see that she needs help, not blame." Claire shook her head. "You're lying. You're just jealous. I don't care what you say. Julia belongs to me." She scowled and shouted, "I'm calling the police." I was shocked. Claire took out her phone and started to dial. She said loud enough so others could hear, "This girl has kidnapped her own mother's daughter. She's stealing her. I want her taken away." My stomach dropped. Julia started crying softly behind me. I looked at Julia and then at Claire. I wanted to stop her, but I didn't know what to do. Some minutes later, we heard sirens outside. Police cars pulled up in front of the house. Claire quickly put down her phone. She looked proud, but her eyes were cold. The police officers came inside and asked questions. "Is everything okay here?" one officer asked. Claire pointed at me and yelled, "She's lying. She's trying to take Julia away from me." The officer looked at Claire and then at me. I told the officer what I saw. "Julia is sick. She needs help. Claire is only thinking about herself." The officers listened carefully. They looked at Julia. They saw she was weak and scared. One officer said, "We will make sure Julia is safe. You need rest, Julia. And Claire, you need to take care of her and be kind." Claire looked angry but didn't say anything. She stood silent as the officers took notes. After the police left, I held Julia close. She was trembling. I knew this was a beginning. Things were going to be hard, but I wanted her to know she was not alone. Julia looked at me with tired eyes. "Thank you," she whispered again. "Thank you for staying with me." I smiled and kissed her forehead. "I will always be here for you," I said softly. That day, I realized something important. Julia's health and happiness are what matter most. Claire's mask had fallen. She was not the mother I thought she was. She was selfish, and she only cared about herself. Julia was hurt, but she was starting to see her own strength. She was beginning to heal, little by little. And I promised myself I would do everything I could to help her. Because friendship is about caring, no matter what. And I would never leave her side. As the sun set outside, I sat beside Julia watching her sleep. I knew it wasn't over yet, but I also knew that with courage and kindness, we could face whatever came next. I woke up early in the morning. The sun was shining through the window, but I did not feel happy. Last night, everything had become very bad. I still heard Julia crying in my mind. Her voice was soft, but very scared. I looked at Julia. She was sleeping on the couch. She looked so fragile. Her face was pale. Her eyes were tired. I knew she was still hurt inside and outside. I wanted to help her and keep her safe. Suddenly, I remembered something. Last night, Claire had come back with a tan and a cold face. She was angry. She yelled at me. She said I had kidnapped her own daughter. Claire blamed me for everything. I felt sad and confused. I did not do anything wrong, but she was so mad. I sat down quietly and watched Julia. I saw her breathe slowly. I felt a little better knowing she was alive, but I also felt worried. Claire's mask had finally fallen off. I saw her true face. She was not a caring mother. She was cold and selfish. I took a deep breath. I remembered what Julia told me before. She said she was tired of Claire's lies. She said she wanted to get better, to be free from her mother's hurt. I wanted to make sure Julia knew she was not alone. Just then, my phone buzzed. I looked at it. It was Claire. I saw her name on the screen. My heart started to beat faster. I hesitated. Should I answer? I did not want to hear her angry voice again, but I knew I had to see what she wanted. I took the phone and answered. "Hello," I said softly. Claire's voice was sharp and cold. "Where is Julia? I want to see her now," she said. I felt my stomach tighten. I kept my voice calm but firm. "Julia is resting. She is not feeling well. Please don't come here. We are taking care of her." Claire sighed loudly. "You think you can just keep her away from me? I am her mother. I have rights." I wanted to say more, but I knew it was better to stay quiet. Claire was angry. She was dangerous when she was like that. After the call ended, I looked at Julia. I saw her eyes open slowly. She looked at me and smiled faintly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for taking care of me." I held her hand gently. "I will always be here for you. You are safe now. You don't have to be afraid." Julia nodded weakly. She closed her eyes again. I stayed by her side, watching her breathe. Suddenly, I heard a loud knock on the door. My heart started to race. Who could it be? I slowly moved to the door and peeked out. I saw 2 police officers standing outside. They looked serious but kind. I opened the door a little. "Hello," I said softly. One officer smiled gently. "We are here to check on Julia. We heard she was not feeling well. Can we come in?" I nodded and stepped aside. The officers came in carefully. They looked at Julia and then at me. "Is she okay?" one officer asked. I nodded again. "She is weak but resting now. She was very sick yesterday. Her mother was here too, but she left." The officers looked at each other. One of them took out a small notebook. "We need to ask some questions. Did Claire try to hurt Julia?" I hesitated. "Yes. Last night Claire was very angry. She yelled and blamed me. But I don't think she hurt Julia physically." The officer nodded. "We will check everything. It's important that Julia is safe." I watched as the officers talked quietly with Julia. They asked her simple questions and wrote down what she said. Julia looked tired, but glad to have help. After a little while, the officers said they would stay close and make sure Claire would not come back. They told me to keep Julia safe and call if I needed more help. I looked at Julia again. She was still weak, but she looked a little happier. I promised myself I would do everything I could to protect her. Later that day, Julia's eyes closed again. She was tired, but I knew she was beginning to heal inside. I sat next to her, holding her hand. I thought about Claire. She had shown her true self. She was not a caring mother. She was cold and mean. I knew I had to stay strong for Julia. I looked out the window. The sun was shining bright. I knew that even in dark times, there was still hope. Julia was starting to see that too, and I promised myself that I would always be here for her. No matter what happens next, that was the beginning of something new. Julia was hurt, but she was not broken. She was beginning to find her strength, and I would help her every step of the way. This was only the start. Things would get better. I knew it. I wake up feeling tired and confused. The hospital room is quiet. I see Julia lying on the bed. She looks weak but peaceful. I sit close to her and hold her hand gently. It's been a few days since everything happened. Julia is getting better, but I still feel worried. I can't forget what Claire did. How she ignored Julia's cry for help. How she posted selfies while Julia was sick. How she yelled and blamed everyone else. I know Claire's mask has fallen off. She's not the mother I thought she was. I look out the window. The sun is shining bright. I remember the last time Claire was here. She looked bronzed, proud, and cold. She didn't care about Julia at all. She only cared about herself. Suddenly, the door opens. It's a nurse. She smiles softly and speaks kindly. "Julia is doing better today. She's strong. We need to keep her resting, but she's safe now." I nod. I feel a small wave of relief. Julia is alive. She is healing. But I know Claire is still out there. I know she is not finished yet. Later, I sit outside the room. I pull out my phone. I check messages. Some are from other friends. They ask how Julia is. They want to know if Claire is gone for good. Suddenly, my phone buzzes. I see a message from Claire. I hesitate before opening it. I don't want to see her cold words, but I do. It says, "I'm back. Don't try to stop me. I'll fix everything. You'll see. My stomach twists. I know Claire is not finished. She still wants control. She still wants revenge. I feel angry and scared, but I also feel stronger than before. I take a deep breath and put the phone away. I look at Julia through the window. She is resting, and for now, she is safe. I promise myself I will do everything I can to help her heal. I will stay close, no matter what Claire tries to do next. Just then, I hear footsteps. It's the police. They come to ask questions about what Claire did. I tell them everything I saw and heard. I explain how Claire lied, how she called the police on us, and how she tried to hurt Julia. One officer listens carefully. "That was very brave of you," he says. "You did the right thing." I nod. I want Claire to be held responsible for her actions. I want Julia to be safe. As the officers talk, I realize something important. Claire's mask has fallen. The world can see who she really is. A selfish, cold woman who only cares about herself. But Julia is starting to see her own strength. She is beginning to heal, step by step. That night, I sit beside Julia's bed again. I hold her hand. She opens her eyes and looks at me. "Thank you," she whispers softly. I smile. "You're strong, Julia. You're going to be okay." She nods and rests again. I know this will be a long road, but I believe in her. I believe in her future, and I promise myself, no matter what Claire does next, I will stay by Julia's side. Because true friendship means always being there, even when the world feels dark. Tomorrow is a new day, and Julia's new beginning has just started. I wake up in a small, quiet room. My body feels tired, and my head hurts a little. I see my friend sitting next to me. She looks worried, but happy I am awake. She reaches out and gently holds my hand. "Julia, you're awake. I'm so glad." I try to sit up, but I feel weak. My skin feels different, so fragile. I remember everything that happened. The scary times, Claire's anger, and how I was so afraid. I look at my friend. "Is Claire gone?" She nods slowly. "Yes, the police took her away. She can't hurt you anymore." I feel a little relief, but my stomach feels funny. My heart still hurts from all the things Claire said and did. I want to forget her. I want to be safe. My friend smiles softly. "You are safe now. We will take care of you." She gently brushes my hair back and gives me a small hug. As I rest, I think about Claire. I remember her face when she returned from her trip. She looked tan and happy, but her eyes were cold. She didn't seem to care about how sick I was. She just wanted to look good on her selfies. She posted pictures of herself by the pool, smiling and sunbathing. I felt hurt. How could she ignore me when I needed her? I wanted her to see how much I was suffering, but she was too busy showing off her tan. My friend notices my sad eyes. "Julia, I saw her posts. She seemed more worried about herself than about you." I nod. She doesn't care. She only cares about her camera and her selfies. My friend sighs. "That's not a real mother. A real mother would stay and help her child. Claire only wants what makes her look good." I think about that. Claire's mask finally broke. I saw her true face, selfish and cold. I feel angry and sad at the same time. Suddenly, I realize something. I am still here, and I am alive. I am getting better. I have my friend with me. She cares. Maybe I can get stronger. My friend looks at me kindly. "Julia, you are brave. You survived because you are strong." I feel a little smile come to my face. I want to be strong. I want to heal. She nods. "You will. It will take time, but you will get better, and you will learn who really cares about you." I close my eyes for a moment. I think about the worst times, but also about the good people who want to help me now. I decide I will not let Claire's lies or selfishness beat me. I whisper, "Thank you for being here." She squeezes my hand. "Always. I will stay with you." I feel a tiny hope inside. Maybe the dark days are almost over. Maybe I can start to trust again. Maybe I can be happy again. The door opens slowly. A nurse comes in with a kind smile. She checks my IV and asks how I feel. I nod again. I feel okay. I want to get better. The nurse pats my hand. That's good, Julia. You are doing very well. I look at my friend and then at the nurse. I know I still have a long way to go, but I am ready to begin again. I am ready to heal. I am ready to find my strength. And I know that, no matter what, I am not alone. The room feels calmer now. The bad days are behind me. I will be okay. I will keep fighting. And one day, I will be happy again. I wake up in a quiet room. The sun is shining through the window. I blink a few times and try to remember what happened. I feel weak and tired. My body still hurts a little, but I am safe now. I look around and see that I am in a hospital bed. There are soft blankets and a small clock on the wall. I take a deep breath and feel a small spark of hope. I remember Julia lying in the bathroom, crying and scared. I remember Claire's angry face and her yelling. I feel a heavy weight in my chest. I want to help Julia get better. I want her to feel safe again. I squeeze her hand gently. I want her to know I am here. A nurse walks into the room. She smiles kindly. "Good morning," she says. "How are you feeling?" I nod softly. "A little better," I reply. She checks my IV and gives me some water. I sip slowly, trying to stay calm. As I sit there, I think about Claire. She is not here now. I am glad. I don't want to see her angry face again. I know Claire is not a kind mother. Her love is not real. It was just a mask she wore to hide her selfishness. Now I see her true self, cold and mean. I feel sad for Julia. She deserved a mother who cares. Suddenly, a doctor comes into the room. He is tall and kind. "Hello," he says. "You are doing very well. Your body is healing." I listen carefully. "And your mind, too," he adds softly. "You have been very brave." I smile a little. I am brave. I am strong. The doctor explains that Julia is in a safe place now. She is getting help to heal from all the pain. I hear that the police are making sure Claire cannot hurt Julia anymore. That makes me feel a little better. Julia needs time to rest and to remember that she is loved. Not by Claire, by the people who truly care. I think about the past weeks. Julia was hurting so much. She was scared. She didn't eat or sleep enough. Her body was weak, and her heart was even weaker. But now she is starting to heal. I want to help her every step of the way. While I wait, I take out my phone. I look for messages. I find a few from our friends. They are asking how Julia is doing. I write back, telling them she is safe and getting better. I send a message to the nurse, asking if I can see Julia soon. She nods and says yes. In the quiet moments, I think about Claire. I know she is not a good mother. She only cares about herself. Her love was just a trick, a way to make herself feel better. She cared about her looks and her reputation more than Julia. I feel angry and sad, but I also feel stronger. Julia needs me to stay strong for her. A nurse comes back with some good news. "Your friend can visit you now," she says. I stand up slowly. I walk to the door and see Julia lying in a different bed. She looks small and fragile, but her eyes are bright. When she sees me, her face lights up. "Hi," I say softly. "I'm here." I sit next to her and hold her hand gently. Julia tries to smile, but tears still fall down her face. "Thank you for staying," she whispers. I wipe her tears away carefully. "I will stay with you, I promise. You are not alone." Julia's voice is quiet but strong. "I want to get better," she says. "I want to forget the bad things. I want to be happy." I nod. "You will get better," I say. "You are brave. You are strong." I want her to believe in herself, just like I do. Outside the window, I see the beautiful sky. The sun is shining bright. It reminds me that even after dark nights, there is always a new day. Julia and I have a lot of healing to do, but we are starting now. We are starting to believe in hope. I look at Julia and know that this is only the beginning. She will heal. and she will find happiness again. Claire's words and actions cannot take away her strength. Julia's heart is full of kindness and courage. I will be here to help her every step of the way. As I sit quietly, I think about what comes next. Julia needs time. She needs love and support, and I will give her that. We are friends, and friends do not leave each other when things get hard. We stand together, no matter what. Today, I feel a little lighter. I know we are headed toward a better future. Julia's eyes look at me with trust. I promise to always be here. We will heal. We will grow stronger. And someday, the bad memories will be just stories in the past. I take a deep breath and feel hope rising inside me. I know that even after the darkest night, the sun will shine again. And I believe that Julia will find happiness. She deserves it. We both do. This is only the start of a new chapter. A chapter where love and truth matter more than anything else. And I am ready to walk that path with Julia, step by step. Because friends are for helping each other through the hard times, and I will never leave her side. I woke up in a quiet, safe place. My head still hurt a little, but I felt stronger than I had in days. My friend was sitting next to me. She looked tired, but happy. I looked around. There were clean walls, soft pillows, and a window that let in sunlight. It felt good to be somewhere safe. My friend took my hand and smiled. "You're awake," she said softly. "You're doing so well." I nodded. I wanted to say thank you, but my throat was sore. I just looked at her and felt a small spark of hope. Maybe I was starting to get better. I thought about everything that had happened. Claire was gone now. The police took her away. She couldn't hurt me anymore. I remembered how scared I was when she yelled and called the police on me. I felt a little sad, but mostly I felt tired. Tired of the pain. Tired of feeling alone. My friend gently squeezed my hand. "Julia," she said softly, "you are safe now. We are going to help you heal. It will take time, but you will get stronger." I looked at her and smiled a little. I knew she was right. I didn't want to feel scared forever. I wanted to be happy again. I wanted to feel loved and cared for, not ignored or hurt. Over the next few days, the doctors checked on me. They gave me food, water, and medicine. My friend stayed with me all the time. She told me stories and made me laugh, even when I didn't feel like it. It made me feel better to have someone who cared. One day, a kind nurse came into the room. She said, "Julia, you are very brave. You've been through a lot, but you are beginning to heal." I looked down at my hands. I felt a little stronger. I thought about Claire. I knew she was not a good mother. She only cared about herself. I felt sorry for her, but I was glad she was not here. I didn't want her to hurt me again. That afternoon, my friend held my hand tighter. "Julia," she said, "you are important. You are special. You deserve love and kindness." I nodded again. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to be happy and safe. I knew it would take time, but I was ready to start healing. Later that day, I looked out the window. I saw birds flying and children playing outside. It made me feel a little warm inside. Maybe someday soon, I could join them. Maybe I could laugh again and be free. My friend was still there, watching me. I felt thankful. I knew she would stay by my side. She said she would help me build a new life, a better life, one where I was loved, not hurt. As the sun sank lower, I closed my eyes for a moment. I took a deep breath. I was safe now. I was starting over. I didn't know what the future held, but I was ready to face it. One step at a time, I would heal. One step at a time, I would find my strength again. And in my heart, I felt a tiny, quiet hope. Maybe things would get better. Maybe I could be happy again. Maybe I could trust again. I didn't know everything yet, but I knew I was on the right path. The room was quiet, peaceful. I drifted into a gentle sleep, feeling a little stronger, a little braver. I was beginning to heal, and that made me believe in a better tomorrow. I sit quietly in the small, bright room. Julia is resting on the bed. She looks calmer now, but I can see she is still tired and weak. Her eyes are a little open, and she looks at me. I hold her hand gently. It's hard to believe that just days ago, everything was so different. Julia was hurt and scared. Claire was angry and mean. Now, Claire is gone. She was taken away by the police because of what she did. I am glad she is not here, but I also feel sad. Julia's pain runs deep, and I want her to feel safe again. I look at Julia and whisper, "You are so brave. You are strong." She gives me a small smile. That smile makes me want to cry, but I hold back my tears. I know Julia needs me to be strong too. Across the room, a nurse comes in. She checks Julia's bandages and listens to her heartbeat. She smiles kindly and says, "Julia is doing better. She is healing, little by little." I nod and thank her. I feel happy that Julia is getting better. I remember when Claire was here earlier. She looked cold and angry. Her face was hard and her voice was sharp. She yelled at me, calling me a liar and saying I kidnapped Julia. That was not true. I only wanted to help Julia. Claire's words hurt. I wanted to tell her she was wrong, but I knew it wouldn't help. Claire's mask finally broke. Now we see her real face. She is selfish and angry. She cares only about herself. She does not love Julia in her heart. Her love was just a price tag, $200. That is all she cared about. Her love was cold, not warm or kind. I look at Julia and think about how much she has been through. She was hurt not just on the outside, but inside too. Her mother's love was not real love. It was selfishness and greed. But Julia is still here. She is still fighting. Suddenly, I hear a door open. I turn. It's Julia's grandma. She walks in quickly and kneels beside the bed. She hugs Julia softly. Julia's eyes fill with tears. She looks up at her grandma and whispers, "I'm okay now." Her voice is small, but it is strong too. Julia's grandma strokes her hair gently and says, "You are my brave girl. You are safe now. We will take care of you." I feel relief. Julia is starting to heal and she is beginning to believe in love and safety again. I sit next to Julia and quietly say, "You have so much strength inside you. No one can take that away." Julia looks at me and nods. I can see she is learning she is worth love. She is starting to see her own light, even in dark times. We stay like that for a little while. Outside the window, the sun is shining. It feels warm and bright. I think about how everything has changed. Claire is gone, and Julia is here. She is alive. She can heal. I promise myself that I will always be here for Julia. I will help her smile again and find her happiness. No matter what happens next, I know Julia is strong enough. She has a new beginning ahead. As I hold Julia's hand, I think about how important trust is. Trust is like a tiny seed. When it is cared for, it can grow into something big and beautiful. Julia's trust, her hope, and her love are growing now. I believe in her. This is not the end. It is only the start of something new. Julia will get better. She will learn to love herself and to trust again. And I will be here to help her every step. I look at Julia and say softly, "We will get through this, together." She looks at me and smiles again. It's a small smile, but it is full of hope. Yes, I think, we are going to be okay. I wake up in a quiet, safe room. It feels strange after everything that has happened. I look around and see Julia sitting in a chair. She looks stronger than she did last week. Her face is a little tired, but there is a small smile on her lips. I feel happy for her. She is starting to heal. I walk over to her. "How are you feeling today?" I ask softly. Julia looks at me and nods. "A little better," she says. "I still get sad sometimes, but I want to try again." I squeeze her hand gently. "You are very brave," I say. "You are starting a new life now. You are safe." Julia nods again. She looks out the window. The sun shines brightly outside. It reminds me of Claire's selfies, bright and fake. I remember how she ignored Julia's cry for help, how she only cared about herself. I think about everything that has happened. Claire's mask finally broke. We saw her true self, the cold, selfish woman who only cared about her image, not her daughter's happiness. She was willing to hurt Julia just to keep her pride. I want Julia to know that she is not alone, that she is special and strong. She doesn't need Claire's love. She can find love from the people who care about her now. Just then, a door opens. 2 police officers walk in. They look kind, but serious. One officer speaks. "Julia, we are here to make sure you are safe. You don't have to worry anymore." Julia looks at me. Her eyes are full of hope and relief. I smile at her. I know she is starting to heal from all the pain Claire caused. The other officer turns to me. "We have finished talking to Claire," she says. "She will face the consequences for her actions." I feel a little angry. Claire's selfishness hurt Julia so badly, but I also feel proud. Proud that Julia is stronger than her scars, that she is beginning to trust again. Later, I sit with Julia in a quiet park. The air is fresh, and the trees sway gently. She leans on me a little. "I want to forget her," Julia says softly. "I want to believe there is good in the world." I nod. "There is, you just have to find it. You are already finding it inside yourself." Julia looks up at me and smiles. "Thank you for helping me. Thank you for believing in me." I feel my heart warm. "I will always be here for you," I say. "You are my best friend, and I will never leave you." We sit together in the sun. We are not afraid anymore. We know that the future can be bright if we stay strong and honest. Claire's mask is gone. Her lies are exposed. She can no longer hide who she is. But Julia and I are starting a new chapter, a chapter of hope, trust, and love. As the sun sets, I think about how far we have come, from darkness to light, from betrayal to truth. We have learned that real love is caring, not selfishness, that true friends stand by each other, even in tough times. And I believe that no matter what, Julia will be okay, because she is brave, because she is loved, because she is finally free.